Hey guys, how's it going? Alex on here from the Sartorial Armenians podcast, and we're here joined by our good friend Arev Dinkjian. Arev, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be on.
So we're happy to have you here. We're happy to talk about yourself as well as the new Instagram account you created, Clothes and Other Drugs. I know that I was scrolling through Instagram one day and then got a follow request. I was like, "What is this? Let's take a look at it." So Arev, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. I'm from Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is a small town right outside New York City on the Jersey side. I grew up in a very diverse sort of community in an Armenian household. And then for college, I went up to Providence, Rhode Island. I studied at PC, yeah. For education, I do both elementary and special ed. And now I am a full time fourth grade literacy and science teacher.
Awesome. Cool. So, so within teaching, I mean, what got you inspired to go down the teaching path?
Yeah, so actually, I started off college as an accounting major. So I applied to Providence College as an accounting major, and I decided to switch my major in the middle of my sophomore year. I just wasn't really connecting to the major. I went to PwC for a sort of like, they invite students to come and see the workplace, that sort of thing. And just didn't feel like that was the right fit for me. Accounting is like, I have the utmost respect for accountants because it's so challenging. It really, truly is. But I just could not see myself in the field. And more than that, like when I was sitting in class with the other accounting students, I just found it difficult for me to sort of relate to them. I know a lot of them kind of saw themselves in each other, and I just couldn't. I just wasn't connecting. So I decided to switch to education.
Got it. Well, you've always been good with kids. I mean, some of my more memories that I kind of remember you from is at Camp Hayastan, where you were counselor for everybody and kind of interacting with all the kids, and that was truly kind of where your passion shined. So I can see how those two things kind of connected together.
Definitely. Yeah. Once I switched, everybody was just like, okay, this makes sense for you. So I made the right decision.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your account here, right? Clothes and Other Drugs. So what prompted this account to kind of come up? Or what prompted you to start this account?
It's a good question. So on my like personal Instagram account, I've always been kind of interested in fashion, and I used to love every time there was like a red carpet event, I would love to sort of go through and see what the celebrities were wearing. And I would always kind of post this recap of my favorite outfits from the night. And I had plenty of people tell me that I should sort of make a separate account to log that kind of information. And I never really thought seriously about it. I didn't think more of it beyond that. But once we were all kind of stuck in quarantine, and I had to kind of create things to keep myself busy and to keep my mind working. I thought it was the perfect time, the perfect opportunity to really get it started.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I remember scrolling through Instagram on your other account, whether it was the Academy Awards, whether it was Golden Globes, all these different events, you'd always be posting your favorite looks, Met Gala, all these things. So it's probably the most, what's the word? Kind of out there outfits, right? People can get very creative with what they're wearing there. It's not very, traditional as most would say.
It's the Super Bowl of fashion.
What about the fashion kind of interests you?
That's a good question. I'm still kind of figuring out where I want to take it. A lot of people are sort of encouraging me to reach out to different brands and kind of try and make connections like that. But I'm not quite sure if I see it so much as a business opportunity. It's more for me a teaching opportunity. I feel like I have a lot of friends or people in my life who, they might ask me for fashion advice, or, they say things like, oh, only you could wear that. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. I kind of wanted to use this opportunity as a way to sort of educate and reteach people how to look at their closets.
Okay. And now, so out of the people who will come and message you like and say only you could wear that, but what are some of the main things that you're teaching, or what are out of style rules, if we could call them that?
Yeah. Okay. So I like to stay away from the word rules when talking about fashion, just
Okay.
because like there are no actual rules. If someone puts something on and like they feel like this is it, like I never look better, I never felt better, then they should wear it regardless of what sorts of nitpicking kind of things other people might say. But if I were going to create, I like to say guidelines, a set of guidelines, I like to, number one, always think about fit. And I know that's
Hmm.
very important. You and your brand fit is just, that's going to make or break your outfit. You can be wearing the most expensive thing in the room, but if it isn't fit to your body, then it's just not right.
It's probably the most truest statement you could ever make. I talk to a lot of people where they'll say, "Oh, I just bought this," or "I bought that," and you look at them and like, "Buddy, like, go find the tailor, because you need to either take it in, let it out. I don't care how much you spent on it. If it doesn't look right, it's gonna look like you spent nothing on it."
It's
So,
not right. Yeah, you look inexpensive when you're not when your clothes don't fit you right. So
hmm.
that's number one. Number two, I always look for balance. So whether that means sort of like a big structured shoulder on top with like a sort of smaller fitted bottom, whether that means balance with patterns, balancing how much skin you're showing where. I'm always looking for balance. And my last guideline is definitely going to be that you have to sort of figure out the appropriateness of an outfit. And so that doesn't mean that you have to cover up or anything like that. When I say appropriateness, you want to make sure that your outfit works for whatever you're doing and wherever you're going. So if you're going to be
Okay.
uncomfortable by the end of the day, then you need to figure out a different outfit.
It's not worth doing it then.
Yeah. You want
Okay.
the role. You want to make sure you look the part and that you feel the part that you want to be that day.
So, do you talk about like kind of confidence building a lot in a lot of your posts, or in the advice that you give?
I have a few times. So what I like to do is try to sort of be honest as I can. It's very easy to be on social media and kind of tweak your photos or sort of put out this lifestyle that's not actually the one that you're living. So I
Hmm.
try my best to be as honest as I can with the things that I struggle with, whether it's my skin or just finding clothes that fit my body correctly. So I definitely try to be as honest as I can, and I try to sort of lift the veil from my personal Instagram account, where everybody's like trying to make themselves look the best as they can. I
Hmm.
want to use my clothing Instagram as an opportunity for people to see that okay, I don't just sort of roll out of bed looking the way I do. I make calculated decisions to make this happen.
Okay. And so what type of content are you mainly posting? I mean, I've seen a couple of things kind of lookbook style, but what other type of content are you trying to put out there?
Yeah, so I have a few different sort of ideas that I've been kind of reusing. So one is definitely the four seasons. So I try to take staple pieces in my wardrobe and sort of display how you can wear that one piece throughout all four seasons.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
ever want to feel like trapped in an outfit, like I can only wear it once a year. I try not to buy clothes that way. I don't think that's a good way for consumers to be conscious. So I like to do that the four seasons. I also try to find inspiration from other things. So maybe that's movies or books. And I like to sort of incorporate the characters into outfits.
Okay.
And I also like my personal favorite is Level Up. So I take something that, it's kind of either like a fashion staple or something that people who are comfortable or familiar with fashion already know, and I kind of explore ways to take it to the next level. So I've done that with like wearing a plain white shirt and kind of experimenting with adding texture or adding structure, things that can kind of make this sort of staple a little bit leveled up.
Okay. Cool. Would you ever consider doing any type of? I mean, I haven't seen any videos yet, but would you consider doing more in-depth video tutorials or even podcasting?
I did one video of how I apply my everyday makeup look,
Okay.
but I'm hesitant about doing anything like podcasts or, some voiceover just because I hate the way my voice sounds.
Well, from listening on this end, you sound a lot more polished than I do right now. So I think you definitely have the radio voice and the YouTube voice ready to go. Not to mention a very bubbly personality. So
It's just you hear yourself and you're just like shocked.
yeah, I'm like, is that really what my voice sounds like?
Yeah, so we're sticking to photos for now and
All
silent.
right. Sounds good. Well, let's go back for a second. Back to you were talking about kind of you take inspiration from movies and books. So, what are you kind of your top either favorite movies or the movies you take inspirations from?
Sure. My number one favorite movie, which has nothing to do with fashion, but I just can't steer away from it, is The Sandlot. That's just
Okay.
for me, like no question. The Sandlot just means something to me and like just reminds me of my childhood. But second, and definitely more fashion related, is Spice World, which is this girl's movie. But I really, really suggest everybody watch this movie. It's incredibly campy. It's like cheesy. It's the perfect sort of like over the top ridiculousness that is the Spice Girls. And it kind of just allows you to feel like, okay, it's okay to just poke fun at yourself and kind of, don't take yourself too seriously. Just like enjoy every piece of life. So that's up there.
Nice. I like that. That's a good message to put out there. And then what about books? I know you posted something that was like Alice in Wonderland themed. You took different outfits from different characters. So what are some of your favorite books?
Yeah, I'm an avid reader. I try to go through a book a week if I can. So I said I work as a teacher, and literacy really is my passion. I'm always trying to sort of instill this love of books in my students, which I feel like a lot of times is kind of like this lost art. But I love to read. My number one favorite book is a book by the author Jodi Picoult. She's more famous for writing the book My Sister's Keeper, which eventually got into a movie. But the book I love the most from her is called The Storyteller. It's incredible. It's like super. She does realistic fiction mostly, so it's just really hits home for me. My second favorite book is The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, which is a children's book, but it's just one of those books that no matter what throughout life, you can always reread this book and kind of get something special out of it. And thirdly, I'll have to say a fashion one. Women in Clothes, which is a collection of surveys that were taken by just everyday average women. I actually got to participate in the survey myself,
wow.
As a college student. Yeah, so I'm featured in the book. And they just kind of tackle this question of why do we dress the way we dress? And a lot of times there are sort of these like deep-rooted sort of things that we don't even realize that dictate how we're dressing now as adults. So it's a really, really interesting book.
Well, what was your answer in the survey then about why we dress the way we dress?
Well, the survey, the way that they ask it is a bunch of sort of like miscellaneous questions, but the one they picked from my survey, which I was actually so pleased, they had asked, when do you feel you're most beautiful?
Okay.
And it brings us back to camp because I had written that I felt the most beautiful at camp, even though, you're makeup free, you're wearing a dirty outfit that you've been wearing for the last like 3 days. There's like twigs in your hair, but there's just something so beautiful about this sort of like blissful and just like relaxed summer atmosphere that just really made me feel my best.
I like that. I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, camp really, especially Camp Hayastan. I mean, I know most American summer camps. For anybody who's listening, most of you I know are Armenian, so you can identify with this. But I mean, Camp Hayastan really holds a special place in kind of everybody's hearts. Whether that's like their second home for the summer, they meet all their friends they haven't seen in a whole year. It really is kind of a wonderful experience that really you can't put into words unless you've really been there.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So who's your main audience that you're trying to target or trying to teach or provide kind of guidance to?
Yeah, probably I would say people around my age. So I'm 27. So I'd say the span between, let's say, 15 to about 40. I'm probably
Okay.
target market, just because, I'm in that age range right now. I don't really think that there's like a age limit on clothes or fashion. It's all about how you wear it and what you feel comfortable in.
Hmm.
But I am sort of trying to reach out to women and girls who perhaps they're not exactly sure what to do with the clothes that they already have in their closet. Maybe they feel like they need some sort of refresh. And really, I don't want anyone going out and buying new clothes. I really
Hmm.
want people to sort of examine the things that they already have in their closet and figure out, okay, how can I rework this to kind of give this outfit or piece of clothing new life? So I'm looking, yeah, probably at women around that age range who kind of are feeling a little bit like stuck in a rut, and maybe they need a little bit of inspiration to get their fashion juices going.
Okay. Well, I mean, especially towards the younger age, right? I mean, you're starting at 15. I mean, this is kind of when, girls are just trying to figure out their sense of style, right? What do we have? What are we going to wear? What are we getting rid of? As you said, you don't want them to go and buy anything, but in the event that they do, what are we buying? What are the quality things we should be buying?
Right.
I mean, even in menswear, those are the things that we talk about to everybody. It's like, okay, let's take a look at your wardrobe.
Right.
Okay. If there's a bunch of things in there that you can do without, get rid of them. Buy
Yes.
buy stable, high quality pieces that are going to last you, not one season or one wear type of outfits.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess that's something I see too. Maybe you can shed some light on why is it that women especially have this kind of one outfit, one event kind of rule. Like for every new event, they go and get something new
Right.
versus kind of stylizing something out of the countless number of outfits that they could possibly have.
Yeah, so social media definitely sort of transformed how the everyday average person looks at fashion and the clothes that they have available to wear. Um, I mean, even Google Images started because of fashion. Like we looked at Jennifer Lopez in that Versace V dress. That was sort of the
Hmm.
of pictures of an outfit being shared just because of the outfit itself.
Okay.
So now that all of us, everybody has access to as many social media accounts as they want, we're sort of forced into thinking that we can't be wearing the same thing over and over again. So, we're kind of like given this social media veil that people are living these very lavish lives where they have a new outfit every time that they like go shopping at Target, and
Hmm.
that's not the truth. So we're kind of tricked into believing that. And the only way to sort of sustain that lifestyle is by purchasing fast fashion. And fast fashion are pieces, like you're saying, sort of like one and done. You buy it from places like H&M, Fashion Nova, those sorts of
Hmm.
places where the quality of the clothes are not exceptional. You buy them, you wear them, you take a picture in them, and that's kind of it. They're not pieces that you're investing in and keeping forever. Um, so at 15, I really want young girls to sort of revisit how they think about fashion and ask themselves, am I buying this just because it's what everybody else has? Am I buying it because I'm expected to? Or am I buying this because, I'm inspired by it? It makes me feel really great when I put it on. It's going to last me however long. Those are things that I really want people to sort of examine. I was very lucky growing up to have a sister who was much older than me. She's 12 years older than me. And so when I was 15, she was very good at sort of dictating what sorts of things are worth buying and what kind of, just don't even waste your money.
Hmm.
I also inherited a ton of clothes from her. People call them hand me downs as if it's a bad thing, but 90s fashion, 2000 fashion, it's back right now. And you have,
This is true.
you have like real authentic pieces from the time. So I was lucky to have an older sister to sort of guide me through that. And so I'm hoping to kind of help and provide that for our younger population.
Okay, awesome. That's don't know of a lot of people personally, but I mean, I can definitely see the value in something like this. I mean, if especially for example, like if I didn't have, well, I don't have an older brother, but and if I wasn't in this is definitely something I would look forward to. Or you could go to your dad, you could go to your mom, but you also want somebody your age, right? Somebody who's gone through, like you said, you have an older sister. You have somebody that you look up to who's kind of done everything and is going to lead you down the right path that also allows you to kind of express your own sense of style, right?
That's right. Yeah. And I don't expect for people to mimic or copy my style. That's not really what I hope would happen. I hope that people can kind of find inspiration and figure out what is it that they want to wear and what makes them happy and comfortable. Developing your own sense of style is something that I think is really important. And it kind of just reminds yourself who you are and kind of what you think is important. And I don't want any 15, 16, 17-year-old sort of allowing someone else to make that decision for them.
Okay. What I want to talk about next is, and we kind of briefly touched on about books and movies, but this is specifically kind of resources, whether it's different accounts or websites, books, or accounts to follow for inspiration.
Yeah. So a lot of the things are kind of things that just I like, whether it be a movie or a book, like we were saying, cartoon characters, all those sorts of things that kind of bring some nostalgia to my life. But aside from that, in terms of, strictly doing some fashion research, I like to utilize books as much as I can. So the Fashionary is a great company that provides educational books online, all about sort of all the sorts of like nitty gritty sort of fashion things, the terminology, all that kind of stuff that I think is really interesting to know. I took one fashion class in college and I still have the textbook that I love it. I think it's so cool and helpful. And I just can't believe that people like study that for their whole college career. Like it's just like a dream to me.
So tell us more about that. I mean, what was in the textbook, or what were kind of some of the things that jumped out at you?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, the professor was just incredible. Like I felt like I was walking into The Devil Wears Prada. Like this guy was he was a true character, which just like added to the experience of the class. But the class was called The History of Fashion and Costuming. And it sort of looked at history in the world parallel to the fashion trends at the time. So you can kind of find, as things are happening in history and in the world, the fashion is going to mimic those sorts of things or vice versa. And one of the most interesting things that I read about was this sort of idea of like during the French Revolution, when these women, like the aristocrats, had these big, huge, like sort of bell skirts with all the wire framing. Mm-hmm. Things were like solid. You could not like squeeze into anywhere with those. So since that was the fashion at the time, which was meant to sort of represent, these like bourgeoisie, this very rich sort of lavish life, since that was the fashion at the time, these women couldn't fit through the traditional sort of one open door. And so as a result, architects literally had to create what we know as the French doors, which are the doors that open on two sides just to accommodate these dresses.
I had no idea that that's where the term actually came from.
Yeah, fascinating. So literally architecture had to sort of evolve to keep up with fashion, which I thought was just fascinating. That's my favorite little tidbit from that class, was just, sort of connecting fashion and history. And, a lot of people kind of give fashion this sort of like shoo kind of feeling, but in actuality, it does play a major role in our history and in our world.
Wow. That's cool. I mean, I'm still thinking about that after all these years of seeing French doors, that the history behind them is because of the giant skirts that the bourgeoisie women used to wear.
Right? Yeah, so cool.
That's awesome. So we talked about a couple of books. You said the Fashionary, I believe it was?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. And then any sort of accounts that you would recommend people follow? I mean, other than yours. Um,
And yours.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, there's one that I absolutely love. She's a fashion blogger. She actually was writing for, I believe, Elle magazine for a long time. Her name is Belle Basque, and her Instagram account is the Little Fashion Stylist. So she's just a little bit younger than me. I think she's 25 or 26. She lives and works in the city. Her account is just so colorful and bright, and she mixes textures beautifully. I mean, this girl almost never wears black. I think I've seen her post one black outfit. Like, she just really has fun with fashion, which I just love. The style is definitely not something for everybody. I understand that not everyone likes that sort of over the top, almost like glamorous, sort of fairy tale looking fashion. But her page really gives me a lot of inspiration. I followed her for the longest time. I had the opportunity to meet her last year. She was doing like a sample sale of some of her, like a closet sale with a bunch of other bloggers. And you know that feeling when you idolize someone and then you actually meet them and they're just as good in person as online. Like, I had that.
Oh, wow.
With her. I was nervous. Like, I'm going there to buy her old clothes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nervous going in just because, you know, you have these high expectations. On her Instagram, she looks like this just bubbly, bright, happy person. And then I met her, and she was exactly that person. So
That's awesome.
I had the greatest experience. She follows me now on my Instagram, which was like, again, that was so exciting for me. I was like over the moon. And she's just truly a nice, very nice person. She has a very interesting story. She has one of her eyes is actually fake. And that is, you know, that adds to her like sort of lifted veil. She's very open about it. She is not at all embarrassed or ashamed. She does not try to hide the fact that she has one fake eye. And I think that's incredible. I love that like sort of story where you can be like beautiful and interesting and all these things, and you don't have to pretend you're something else. So.
Definitely someone who's comfortable in their own skin and embraced it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. I love it. I just think she's so cool, so awesome.
That's awesome. The next thing I want to talk about, which I think you'll enjoy, because you may be planning about it. So for those who can't see on the video here, there's been a lot of sparkling going on in the video. So on behalf of the Sartorial Armies, we want to congratulate you on your engagement, and we want to talk about wedding looks.
Thank you. Okay, yes, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I just posted today, actually. I was on this hiatus from posting on my Instagram for a little while, but I just posted today some details about my engagement ring, which I just absolutely love. I could not be more happy with it. So, yeah, okay, wedding looks.
Yeah, well, first let's go. Who's the lucky fiance?
Yes, his name's Michael Jamgochan. We met in Armenia, actually. I was there over the summer on the AYF internship. He was living there at the time. And, we just connected there. It was so nice. It's so easy to, like, sort of fall in love in Armenia. It's just, like, summer romance. It's just beautiful. And then you come home and you have to, put the work in. So it's now 5 years later from when we met, and he moved here 2 years after we met. He's been living here in the United States for 3 years. He works in the city at Lauren B, which is a jewelry company. They specialize in diamonds and engagement rings. So I really picked a good one.
He had to given you the best one that he could make then.
That's right. Yeah, he's very particular, more particular than me. So, he's just the kindest, sweetest man I've ever met. And, we live for each other. We just are enjoying this time. We're not making any plans quite yet in terms of wedding, just because, there's a pandemic going on. So we're not quite planning yet. We're kind of just enjoying being engaged right now. and
Oh,
it's very
that's awesome.
yeah, it's excellent.
Well, again, congratulations to both of you, and we look forward to definitely seeing more content as the plans continue. But yeah, let's. I mean, have you thought about wedding dress? Have you thought about kind of what's the fairy tale wedding look like?
I mean, that's the first thing I looked at as soon as I got. I'm on looking at dresses, of course. I had like sort of a particular style. While I love like sort of a traditional wedding, I don't like the idea of a traditional wedding dress. I don't like lace. I don't like sweetheart neckline. I don't like sort of like floor length cathedral veil. I don't like any of that kind of stuff for me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want something very sleek, definitely a little bit of visual interest, whether that means structure or, some weird type of balance in the dress. Something a little weird, a little odd.
Okay.
Yeah, I want it to be something that people would be like, okay, I would have never picked that. That's what I like.
But you did, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. As
Awesome.
simple as it can be, but with one sort of thing that piques your interest, something
I like
a little
that.
off. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, your own sprezzatura, if you will. I mean, in the tailoring world, that's what we call when you add your own little hint of something to your outfit. I can see that that's exactly what you want to do with your dress.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go into the speed round now.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we got some questions here. First thing that kind of comes to your head and kind of maybe an explanation why, if you can kind of come up with it quickly. So let's get into it. So we talked about a lot of movies and books, but what's your favorite character style from a movie or TV show?
Okay, Sabrina from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay.
Happy-go-lucky from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Believe it or not, I've never seen the movie. I have to watch it. I haven't gotten to it yet. But what's her outfit though?
Audrey Hepburn. She has like a few different ones, but the thing I like about her outfits throughout the whole movie, and same with Funny Face actually, which is another Audrey Hepburn.
I have seen that movie.
Okay, what I love about her movies is she actually picks her clothes. Like the film companies would give her money and she would get to go out and shop for the outfits that she would wear in the film. And I thought that was just so cool and so special. She is one of those people who kind of wears things that are very simplistic. She has sort of like this uniform look with, very tailored, very simple, very feminine, but still a little bit of interest, whether that's sort of like a boat neckline or, the back of the dress being a little bit interesting, something like a little bit off. I love that about all her characters.
I've noticed a lot of her outfits too. Like they're all very elegant, but as you said, simple but elegant, right? I mean, I forgot whose famous quote it is, "Simple but elegant," but that she's clearly the one kind of personifying that quote.
Yeah, nothing ever busy.
No, not at all. Favorite fashion accessory?
Rings.
Rings. Okay, well, that was. Of course.
It was before too. It has always been, but now I have the best ring of all. So.
Okay. Favorite color outfit?
Orange, head to toe.
Orange. Okay. Interesting. Do you have a look on that yet about how you can do a monochromatic orange look?
I have a few monochrome outfits. Like I did a monochrome post, but nothing orange yet.
Okay.
But orange is my favorite color.
So is it like different? Like, would you do different shades, or is it the same shade for each thing?
Yeah, so there are a few different ways you can do monochrome. You can do different shades, same color. I like same color but different textures. So maybe that means feathery or leather or something a little bit different as opposed to cotton all the way up and down.
Okay. Best universal tip you can give someone related to clothing?
You have to feel good in it.
Okay. I like this. Fair enough. Favorite designer?
It's hard. I'll say Marni, which is an Italian designer. Very odd, quirky kind of stuff.
And then your favorite brand? So other than a designer, I mean, kind of whether it's fast fashion or off the rack type of thing, favorite brand to go to?
I'm going to say Rent the Runway.
Okay.
I am an avid Rent the Runway user, and I really suggest anybody who's interested in fashion should subscribe to it as well. You have this like unlimited closet of all these beautiful designer clothes. It's so easy to use. It's so environmentally conscious. Strongly recommend.
So for those of us who don't know, how does it work exactly?
Yeah, so there's actually two different ways that you can rent. If you are sort of just getting started, I would recommend what's called the one-time rental. So you can rent pieces for a span of 4 days or 8 days. You get to pick two sizes of the same dress, let's say. They both come to your house whenever you want. You wear it for however long you want it to. You pack it up and you send it back.
Oh, wow.
All the things included. The dry cleaning is included, all that stuff. It's really like a no worries sort of thing. The second type of rental, which is what I do, I kind of graduated from one-time rentals to what's called unlimited. So you pay a monthly fee, you get 4 items of clothing at a time, and you can sort of just switch them in and out with anything that's available on the site whenever you want. So same deal, the clothes come in, you wear whatever you wear, you send it back, all the shipping's included, dry cleaning's included, all that good stuff.
Cool. So that sounds like a great service you've clearly gotten a lot of use out of it.
100%. Yeah. So much of my outfits are any AYF event, any dance, wedding, all that kind of stuff. I just wear dress because I'm not going to go out and buy one. No way.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So as we go and close it on up, the one last kind of question I want to ask you, right? So we know your page is about fashion, but it's clothes and other drugs. So what are the other drugs?
I love this question. So obviously I took inspiration from Love and Other Drugs, which is sort of like this rom-com movie. But I switched it over to Clothes and Other Drugs. And what I sort of wanted to do is connect this theory or this idea that we don't just pick clothes because we need to throw something on our body. There are other things in our lives that can help us sort of dictate what kind of style do we want, what kind of look are we going for, who do we want to show up being today. So I try to, as best I can, sort of pull inspiration from as many things as I can. I've done like a Disney post. I have a Harry Potter post on the Reserve coming up. My book character one. I did a Powerpuff Girls one. I'm looking sort of for inspiration in my everyday life through all of the other things that I'm, let's say, addicted to. It's reading or cartoons or all these sorts of things. So I want to really connect and have a reason for why I wear what I wear. But the other piece that's super important for me is that I never want my looks to be costumey.
Okay.
So I did like a Disney princess post, and all of the clothes are clothes that I own in my closet that I wear normally. You can mix and match them however you want, of course, but I never want to put on an outfit and feel like I'm in a costume. And so that's what I'm looking to do, sort of use my clothes to express all the other interests that I have in my life.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Arev, for joining us here. Thank you for being on our podcast. Guys, if you haven't followed Arev yet, you can follow her at Clothes and Other Drugs on Instagram. She's got a lot of great information out there, tons of knowledge to share with everybody. I mean, different looks. Again, as she said, you're into Powerpuff Girls, cartoons, Harry Potter. Who's your favorite Harry Potter character?
Hermione, duh.
Oh, okay. Well, I got you. That makes sense. Okay, guys. Well, again, at Clothes and Other Drugs on Instagram. Arev, again, congratulations, and thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.